Hey guys, and welcome back to HairHoney. So today we have some breaking news, and that breaking news is that the FDA last night just approved the first ever drug to help cure alopecia areata, or hair loss. So there are different types of hair loss, guys, and figuring out the right type of hair loss is absolutely going to be key to doing what you need to do to get your hair back. So if you have androgenic alopecia, you don't want to be taking this drug, especially since it has side effects, which we will get more into in a second. So let's talk about this new drug, or it's not even new. It's a drug that has been approved and been used for people with arthritis, which is another autoimmune disorder. So it is now approved for people with alopecia. I don't know if it's readily available yet for people with alopecia. So let's read some of the stuff that they are saying on the front end. And then clearly later on, I will be doing a deep dive into the back end to see really what the clinical trials say, because words can be used like weapons, guys. They might be telling us the right statistics here, but there's also things they might not be telling us. So selective processing of how they're writing these articles and stuff is essential, that you go and actually look at the hard information that's coming out of these studies and clinical trials. So let's get into it. And this is going to be a cash cow. So if you guys are into stocks and stuff, you might even want to look into purchasing the stock, because for people that suffer with alopecia, which is a large percentage of actual people, at least in the United States, this is going to make them so much money. And I'm a finance person, and so, you know, I'm always like crossing my T's, dotting my I's, and if there's a game to be played, I am playing that game. So let's get more into this. So the FDA approved the first systemic or full-body drug to treat hair loss condition alopecia. It interferes with the unwanted autoimmune response that the body is giving and the misguided messages of attacking hair follicles that alopecia creates. In trials, a third of patients achieved 80% scalp coverage, which is pretty great, guys. But side effects, which this is very bare bones, include infections and nausea. Now, the type of infections are going to be extremely important here, as, you know, we have suffered the last 2 years with a lot of respiratory infections that have led to severe lung damage and other damage in the body. So this isn't great timing for this drug to be coming out, but I know those of you who are suffering from alopecia like me are clinging, right, to anything we possibly can. Now, I am currently on a more natural treatment method, but this could be promising for some of you guys who are not seeing success in the natural treatment. But outweighing the pros and the cons is going to be huge, and making sure that you're actually getting down to the bare bones of the content that they're saying, because words can be used as a weapon 100%, and selective choosing of words when writing articles to promote anything is extremely, like, almost manipulating human psychology. So absolutely, I will include case studies if there are some yet, like, published for the public yet, down below, and I can't wait to dive into the case studies and the clinical trials myself. Like, trust me, I am like, woo, so excited. But let's continue on talking about this. So alopecia areata is an autoimmune disorder in which the hair follicles get attacked, leading to hair loss. The drug Olumiant, I think I'm saying that right, I'll put an overlay right here, works by interrupting some of those body's misguided messages. The approval gives alopecia patients for whom good treatment options are lacking another option. While Olumiant has been approved since 2018, it has been approved for arthritis, not for alopecia, but some people have been using it off-label for alopecia. Now, I tried to do the same thing. I know I've seen other studies where Xeljanz was giving people with alopecia universalis their hair back, and I don't have universalis, although I was terrified that I was going to have it, just because I felt like my eyebrows were getting thinner, my eyelashes were getting thinner, and like I was losing hair on other random parts of my body. But I actually think that was a result of low testosterone and low stomach acid, which, guys, there are plenty of reasons why you're losing your hair. Check out my channel, watch some of my other videos, because you might get some insight that you've never heard before that could absolutely not only change any other chronic issues that are going on in your body, but your hair loss. So let's keep going. About a third of patients in the clinical trials regrew enough hair to cover 80% of their scalp. Now, that's a pretty big claim, and that's a pretty big percentage. So again, case studies are going to be quite important in figuring out whether or not this is a potential possibility, at least for me, and I'm sure for some of you guys. So the company that made this drug is called Eli Lilly and Company, which I actually kind of like, because it doesn't sound like some big pharma like Pfizer or anything like that, and I actually tend to prefer and choose these smaller companies. And this one has like a very like Instagram-y name or something, but if it has an IPO'd, I'm clearly getting in and buying some of the stock, because people that suffer with alopecia areata and other types of alopecia, pretty much, I know firsthand, will pay whatever they want to pay to get their hair back. So it's a no-brainer. It's going to be a massive cash cow. But in this study, researchers recruited 855 participants who had lost at least half of their scalp hair. Across 2 clinical trials, some of the participants received 2 milligrams of Olumiant, and some received 4 milligrams, and some received a placebo every day. They did not know which pill they were taking, nor did the study investigators, making it a rigorous study design. Now, this is what they're telling us on the front end, but we'll see the back end. After 36 weeks, the researchers found that about a third of the patient who had received a higher dose had regrown enough hair to cover at least 80% of their scalp. Only 17 to 22% on the lower dose had that result, and only 3 to 5% of those on the placebo did. Now, I don't know what they're putting in the placebo, as it should be saline, but I know in the past this has not been the case with some other clinical trials. They were putting weird things in the placebo, which actually cause more side effects when it's just supposed to be saline. So the most common side effects include respiratory tract infections, headaches, acne, high cholesterol, fatigue, nausea, and weight gain. Now, that last one's like a kind of side effect. I am very healthy and I try and take care of my body both internally and externally, and weight gain, although it can be healthy weight gain, is usually just not something that I like to put on my list of things that I'm trying to achieve. Same with respiratory tract infections, which we know we've been struggling with for the last 2 years, putting our body at a weakened state. So maybe taking something like this could cause more problems in the respiratory tract area, as we are already working through a lot of respiratory tract issues currently during the pandemic. So continuing on, so Marguerite M., a professor from North Carolina who has alopecia, told Insider it's encouraging that more treatments are getting approved for alopecia, but that taking Illuminat would be a last resort for her. One of her concerns is that people will see this as a solution for everybody, and there's a lot of people who do not qualify for it or aren't willing to handle the side effects, like suppressing your immune system during a pandemic. So now they're getting a little bit more into what the actual side effects are. So you're actually suppressing your immune system, which makes sense, because how are they changing the messages of the immune system without suppressing it? So suppressing your immune system, guys, is terrible for you in the long run. I know, because I suffer from other autoimmune disorders, which is what led to my hair loss. And so this is just like a big red flag, hearing that it is turning your immune system off, because steroids do the same thing, but steroids also give you cancer, diabetes, liver failure, adrenal fatigue, so the list goes on and on and on. It's actually crazy. So if this is doing something similar, you really don't want to be taking it. Now, Professor is also uncomfortable with the idea that if you ever stop taking the drug, your hair will fall out again. Are you talking about a cash cow? This is a cash cow. I wish I was in the big pharma industry so I could create something for alopecia, patent it, and make it so that people's hair fell out again after stopping it. It's not a sustainable thing. You're going to have to spend a bunch of money. Insurance probably won't cover it, because it is not a medical thing to have your hair loss. So it's going to be out of pocket. This is going to be probably extremely expensive, and it is going to make them so much money if this continues to go through. She is pursuing other alternative medicine remedies, including taking supplements and following strict autoimmune diet instead. So alopecia treatments are lacking, let's be real, but there are natural things that a lot of doctors won't tell you. Now, most doctors push and peddle the minoxidil and Rogaine and Fistinerine for hair loss, but there's two different sides to that, because one, they're getting a kickback when they do prescribe that kind of stuff, and two, it's not as sustainable, and three, well, so I guess there's three things, it has terrible side effects on the body. So there are natural things, and if you check out some of my other videos, you might be able to figure out some of those natural things such as rosemary oil, which is like the goat of restoring hair and promoting hair growth. It can be as simple as that, and case studies have shown that rosemary oil is just as effective as minoxidil and Fistinerine and Rogaine, so without the side effects. So looking into alternative solutions for the time being while you're waiting or deciding on taking this drug are going to be vital, because you don't want to do nothing until this drug comes out. You really want to still keep with your hair regimens, make sure you're attacking it as soon as you start noticing it, because the sooner you do it, the less hair you'll lose. But also, if your hair follicles are closing up, you don't want scarring alopecia, which means that your hair will never grow back from that area. I know I have a little bit of it, but you definitely don't want that. So the article continues on to be talking about how alopecia treatments are lacking and what is happening to people who have alopecia that do not have access to treatments. Now, let me say, alopecia treatments, yes, are lacking, but not to the extent that they're making it sound like. They make it sound like the only thing possible out there is the Fistinerine, minoxidil, and Rogaine kind of things, which are really just minoxidil, and like Hims and Hers. All of that is minoxidil based, which is really bad for you. But there is actually way more out there than you guys realize to do for your hair, whether that is increasing your stomach acid levels, because most of us have low stomach acid, even though they tell us that we're super acidic, we're actually not. I even bought like a $5,000 water machine to be more alkaline, but just to find out that I literally have no stomach acid, which means I can't fight off bacteria, I can't fight off infections, everything is getting stuck, it promotes harmful bacterial growth, also malabsorption of nutrients and minerals, which is essential for hair growth. All of these things can be leading to hair loss. So there's much more information on hair loss than most of these big pharma companies or most of the doctors that you might see, like dermatologists, are willing to tell you. But there's a twofold reason. One, they get a kickback. Two, they are only taught what to say through the big pharma books that are providing the minoxidil and fistinine. So there's no cure, that is true, or ideal solutions. Steroids, whether in a cream, shot, or pill form, are common treatments, but only work in some cases and come with side effects. Steroids do the same thing as this drug does. It's turning off the immune system. Now, steroids turn off the entirety of the immune system, so maybe this Olumiant drug may only turn off the weird messages that are being signaled in our brain to attack our hair follicles. So another option involves using chemicals to trigger a painful allergic reaction on the scalp, in which 40% of cases or counterintuitively stops the immune system from attacking hair follicles. The therapy needs to be done consistently and is widely available according to the National Alopecia Areata Foundation. So it's just funny to see, because if they hadn't come out with this FDA drug that is now approved for alopecia areata, no way would they be bash talking the fistinine and minoxidil. But now they know they can make more money off of the other alopecia drug that just came out, which could be a lifesaver for a lot of us. You know, take it where you want to take it. If you want to get that treatment, get that treatment. If you don't want to get that treatment, don't get that treatment. But be aware of both sides of the argument, because now they're attacking fistinine and minoxidil, saying that the chemicals trigger a painful allergic reaction on the scalp. It's so funny, because those are the same people that used to push it. Just saying, be a critical thinker in what you're hearing, because, you know, some of this stuff really doesn't make sense. And some people find that, you know, wearing a wig is easier, although it is kind of annoying. Now, I don't wear wigs, but I just bought like a halo extension, which I'll show you guys in another video. I have yet to like wear it out because I'm like kind of scared. It's weird. Like, a lot of girls wear hair extensions, and it's fine because it's not a necessary thing. It's an added thing that they want to do. Once you like have to accept the fact that putting in hair extensions or wigs is a necessary thing, it like hurts your heart a lot. But I have to say, like, I've been finding great success in my hair loss regimen, which typically includes like oils that I make at home, which will soon be available on Amazon. They were available on Etsy, but I had a problem with Etsy, so that's done. You know, like derma rolling with those little needles, making sure you're massaging your scalp. I have a laser cap. I literally do everything possible. I've done the PRP before. So there's other treatments that you can try before doing something like this if you are worried about the side effects and the immune response that you might have by shutting it down your immune system. So guys, I hope you found this informative. And for those of you who have been searching for an FDA approved drug that actually seems to work, which this one does seem to work, congratulations, it happened, and I'm so excited for those of you who want to move forward with this drug. And for those of you who are more critical thinking and weighing the side effects and pros and cons, I will be back on here to do more videos actually going in deeper depth into the case studies and clinical trials surrounding the study of Olumiant and the Eli Lilly company. All right, guys, have a good one. Thank you so much for watching.